Welcome to Truth, the game dollar prize to the contestant chosen by our audience. We have 6 challengers hooked up to lie detectors, which I'll be monitoring. In every round, we ask each of them 5 questions chosen by our audience. Then we vote one off based on their answers. Let's meet our contestants. Why don't you each tell me a little about yourself?
I'm Joe, I'm 28, and I'm from Philly. Let's go Eagles.
My name is Alexis, and I'm born and raised in Beverly Hills.
My name is Sam. Hello. And I recently moved out here to Hollywood to get in the film industry. And I've been writing a long time before I even got to town. And I've got a lot of scripts. I'm willing to show them. Hit me up. And I'm very excited to be on the show.
I'm Autumn. I'm a California native, and I grew up right here in Los Angeles.
Hi, I'm Claire. I've never been on TV before. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I go by Lilith, and I'm from Van Nuys, California.
Let's see what the audience wants to ask first.
Exactly. What fresh hell is this?
What would you do with the money?
Well, my ex-wife would probably get most of it. She's supposed to get half my income, but the judge hates me, so she always gets the bigger half. But if I got money, I'd pay off my credit cards, finish paying off my bike, and finally have some money in the bank for once. That'd be nice.
What's your most unusual talent?
I could change my own oil. I could also fix a flat. You know, people used to know how to do that stuff. That was like common knowledge. But nowadays, no one knows how to do jack shit.
I agree.
Everyone's like relying on others or the internet, or just people don't know how to do stuff. No one can do common guy stuff or girl stuff, whatever, anymore. I don't know. Everyone's so sheltered.
What's your most unusual pet peeve?
I can't stand it when people are FaceTiming or like on speakerphone around me, like as if I'm not there, stomping around with their big loud conversation, like you're holding me hostage to your conversation. I don't give a shit. Phones that you had to hold up to your ear so I didn't have to listen to you. That shit drives me crazy.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I broke so many school records when I played high school football that I couldn't even name them all. I knew I wasn't good enough to go pro, but I'm willing to bet that a lot of those records still stand today.
If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
Immortality? I've heard nerds say like, oh, that would be a curse or something like that, but I don't believe that. That's BS. If I could choose anything, yeah, I'd live forever, for sure.
Do a lot of cool stuff. Oh, he's done.
What is your favorite holiday?
My birthday falls on Christmas, so I get double presents every year. What can compete with that?
If you could have any job, what would it be?
I want to design handbags and accessories. I've considered designing clothes, but I think accessories is my real passion.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
Prima Cinema. It's this service where you can watch a new movie at home the day it's released in theaters. I love watching movies. And I have a home theater, so why wouldn't I use it?
What is your biggest regret?
I once turned down a modeling job because I would have had to go to Milan for 4 weeks. I was in high school at the time, so I might have had to repeat a year. In hindsight, it was a very famous photographer, so it would have helped my modeling career. I should have gone.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
I was at a party once, and Lady Gaga showed up in the same outfit as me. How am I supposed to compete with Gaga? That was so humiliating.
Man, she done. Alright. Mr.
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
Well, I try not to betray friends, but... Okay. I spoiled Avengers Infinity War for several of my friends and coworkers. So, opening night, I saw it twice. I got my tickets in advance for 2 showings right in a row, back to back. I was at the theater for like 6 hours just downloading Infinity War, and it was awesome. But I'm like, okay, Friday, maybe people haven't seen it yet. Over the weekend, I saw it 2 more times. I go into work Monday. I assume that everyone has seen it. It's a phenomenon. It's like the movie grossed like $2 billion. I don't know how much everyone saw it. I assume they all saw it opening weekend. And I started going on about the people we lost, the Avengers we lost, the snap. I really spoiled that movie for a lot of people. I had a lot of apologizing to do that day. And if you're watching, I am so sorry.
This guy's a tool.
I promise you, I am now keeping it spoiler-free.
You're the conductor on a runaway trolley. There are 5 people on the tracks ahead of you who cannot get off the tracks in time. If you continue forward, you will run over and kill all 5. You cannot stop the trolley, but you can change to an alternate track where there is only 1 person on it. If you change tracks, the 5 people on the first track will live, but the person on the alternate track will be run over and die. Do you change tracks?
This is just basic logic. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. So I would change tracks to kill 1 instead of 5.
What do you do for a living?
I'm going to ask that you reserve judgment when I tell you that I am an auditor for the IRS. Now, I know a lot of people think that we are inherently evil, that we are monsters coming to take your money. No, okay? We are not evil. We're not going around trying to harass people. We don't want to screw over the little guy. And here's the thing. If you make an honest mistake on your taxes, we will send you a notice about it and ask you to settle the difference, or if we find that you didn't include a form, a W-2 or something, send it to us. We're good. Now, if you are some rich person who's intentionally trying to game the system for your personal gain, then that might be an issue. Those are the people that get audited. The big muckety mucks who are who are just greedy. Then we will come after you.
This guy is so boring.
What were you like as a child?
As a child, I was always watching cartoons after school, Saturday morning, whenever I could, and playing video games. Lots and lots of video games. And I gotta say that a lot of my friends today are people who I've met playing online video games. So I guess I haven't changed too much.
What is your most unusual pet peeve?
My most unusual pet peeve would be when I'm watching either a superhero show or a movie or maybe something about a crime fighter. They're always using their superpowers. They are always fighting crime. Time out. Let's see a little bit of the rest of their day-to-day. Because in real life, like if you're, like let's say your job is you're in the FBI. You're not always in the FBI. You go home and you're with your wife and kids, or you go to the movies, or you eat a burrito. I want to see that. Batman. Okay, you're fighting crime at night, usually. What about during the day? What about when you have to go into Wayne Enterprises? Let's see a whole Batman movie that's just about Bruce Wayne in board meetings, signing checks, looking over the budget. He's a billionaire. Like, that's a lot of responsibilities and a lot of checks to sign. That could be a whole, how about Dark Knight rises from bed and goes into work? That's what I'm interested in. It's a pet peeve that they're only super picture. Like Michael Knight, the Knight Rider, and Kit. Kit is a talking car, and that's pretty cool. I want to see Kit. But Michael Knight has to take Kit in for an oil change sometime. Kit has to go into the shop, get the transmission fixed. That episode, Michael Knight takes the bus to solve crime.
Describe a typical day in your life.
I live in my van now by choice. When I wake up, I usually drive to the gym so I can work out and get a shower. After breakfast, I usually work one of those food delivery apps for about an hour. I can't stand a normal job, but I can handle those apps in small doses because I don't have a regular day job or a boss to deal with. It's pretty great, to be honest.
If you were going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, who would it be?
Thank you.
I know the standard answer is to name someone really hot who you want to sleep with, but that's actually pretty cruel. You're basically condemning the person you picked to be stranded on a deserted island. That's a pretty awful thing to do to someone. I'd pick no one. I'd be stuck on the island by myself.
Weirdo.
That's a lie.
This is embarrassing. Forgot I was hooked up to a
No.
lie detector. I'd pick Chris Hemsworth. Sorry, Chris.
What is your favorite holiday?
I already have the platinum for that anyway.
Arbor Day. I like that there's a holiday that's for trees and not humans. I always try to spend that day hanging out in the woods, away from people.
What is your most unusual talent?
Nah.
I know how to survive in the wilderness. I can tell what's edible. I can build a shelter and a fire. I can clean water so it's safe to drink. Just survival skills in general. I don't like being dependent on money or on society, so I learned how to get by on my own.
What would you do with the money?
Pharmaceutical companies test drugs on puppies and other small animals all the time, then just abandon them when they're done. Someone needs to do something about it. If I win, I plan on using the money to open a rehab center so I can help those poor puppies recover and live normal lives.
What's the most serious law you've ever broken?
International piracy law. When I was lost at sea one time, I thought all was lost. But a pirate ship came by and actually rescued me. Now, you've heard bad things about pirates, and so had I, but they could not have been nicer. They gave me a job to do on ships so that I could earn my keep when I was there, and everything was going great until they got superstitious. They are superstitious, so they thought for some reason it might be bad luck that I was on board with them. So they were just about to drop me off when we got raided by a Russian Navy ship who put us all in a Russian jail for 5 years for piracy.
What were you like as a child?
I was a hoop trundler. You know, when you get the wooden hoop and you run it down the street with your wooden stick. Oh, I was getting so good at it. I could go really fast and really far. I had to stop because I got rickets.
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is flying. And it's always been my biggest fear, even when I was a little girl. I was petrified of flying. And so my parents got me an emotional support dog called Mr. Fluffers. And they told me that as long as I had Mr. Fluffers with me when I was flying, everything would be all right. So off I went on my first plane trip with Mr. Fluffers, and I knew everything was going to be all right. Even when the plane crashed into the mountains, I still knew everything was going to be all right because I had Mr. Fluffers. Unfortunately, it was about 3 weeks that we had before the search and rescue team found me and other survivors. 3 weeks without food. So
That was
I
like
suppose,
10 years ago.
we wouldn't have been all right if Mr. Fluffers hadn't been there initially.
What is your most unusual talent?
my most unusual talent. Because, I mean, I've got quite a few talents, but... You know, it's funny, because some people think that it's unusual that I can digest grass. Now, I couldn't always digest grass. Humans are not known for their ability to digest grass, but if you really persevere after the first, 40 to 50 upset stomachs, your body does change and it can do it and adapt. And I mean, I don't recommend if you've got any kind of, IBS or anything, but other than that, totally works for me, saves me a fortune.
What?
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
Most people think you need milk to eat cereal. I completely disagree. It's so extortionate. The prices of milk nowadays. I mean, no way.
I eat my
I just use
cereal without
water,
milk.
and it's delicious. I love
don't
my
use-
cereal
that is
with water
gross.
when I can
Eating
find
cereal
cereal.
with water is gross. You're a gross woman. Alright, time for this chick. Let's see.
What was your childhood dream?
I've always wanted to be possessed by a demon.
This the
That's
winner
still
right
my
here.
dream. Maybe one day I can make it happen.
What were you like as a child?
I had a big bullying problem when I was in school. I would speak to guidance counselors, the principal about it. But every time we thought it was under control, something would happen. Like one day, a group of children decided to hold a spelling bee at lunch. For fun. What was I supposed to do? Not beat any of them up.
Huh.
What's your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
I like to turn off movies at the sad part, right before the end, and say that's the ending. It works for every movie. For example, in action movies, where it looks like the hero is lost. In romantic comedies, where the couple breaks up, and it looks like they'll never see each other again.
Oh god, she's got sharp nails
You
too.
get
I
a
can see
much
'em.
more satisfying ending that way.
Weirdo.
You should try it.
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
I believe that we should bring back public execution. We're already executing people in 27 states. Why not sell tickets? I know some people really hate the death penalty, but they should love this idea. Executing these prisoners in private only helps the masses not to think about it. Making it public will bring attention to it.
Probably.
And it gives the rest of us something to do.
What is the dumbest thing you ever did?
This rich couple used to pay me to sit for their dog. And one day he died on my watch. So I buried him in the backyard, replaced him with a look-alike from the local pet shop. The couple comes home. The new dog won't stop barking, yapping, nipping. I said he was acting normal during my watch, I got paid and I left. Anyway, he ends up biting one of them. So they put him outside, where he digs up the original, who turns out wasn't as dead as I thought. So they decided they needed
This
to
is a
call
game
me,
show where
text
you
me
ask 6
dozens,
contestants questions and you
dozens
vote
of
them
times,
out.
asking me
You
why
pick a
I
winner at
would
the end.
bury their dog alive and try and replace him with an evil clone. I figured there was no way explaining my way out of that one, so I didn't reply.
That's the end of this round. We'll soon find out who will be going home after this message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Rebecca Cartwright. Have you been injured in an automobile accident or hurt on the job? Has your case already been settled and you've been awarded a large sum of money? Call Rebecca Cartwright, 555-1258. Rebecca is 25, single, and looking for a long-lasting relationship. Must love dogs. Now it's time for the audience to vote. Please enter the selection of the contestant you think should be going home.
Who's gone home? I like the double thumb thing. She's an internet slut. He talks way too much. She talks too much. She talks too much. And 20 years ago I would have dated this chick. Who's going home? Audience. Fine, there's what? 2 guys and 4 chicks. We gotta get rid of a chick, so we'll get rid of her.
The votes are in. The audience has voted to send home Autumn.
It's probably for the best I didn't win. Lots of money rarely leads to happiness.
Well, and we just keep asking questions until you get somewhere.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Man, I once tried dating 2 girls in the same night, and that did not go well. I was out with this one girl, and we were having a great time, and then I drove her home. I went inside, we fooled around a little bit, that was fun, and yeah, I said goodbye, went to this bar, and I met this other chick, and she was digging me, and I was digging her, and yeah, we left, I took her home, and it's the same home, like, they're roommates, dude. So I'm like, okay, Joe, don't push your luck, let's go home. But no, man, I don't know. I thought, like, maybe the first girl would be sleeping, or, like, best case, who knows, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I went inside, and sure enough, the first girl sitting there, like, watching TV. These girls laid it on me. They got up, they yelled at me. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're beautiful, both of you. Yeah, that sucked. That was, whew, not my finest hour. Yikes.
What is the most serious law
You
you've
replied
ever
way too
broken?
late.
I used to shoplift as a kid. I also used to do a ton of underage drinking. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know which one's worse, but whichever one's worse, I guess, would be my answer.
What was your childhood dream?
I had a ton of dreams as a kid. What I wanted to do changed all the time, you know? I mean, wouldn't that be true for just about everyone? Who spends their whole childhood focused?
What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is dying. I mean, duh, like, I don't want to die. I mean, not in any particular way. You know, people are like, oh, I don't want to drown or get eaten by a lion. Like, I don't care how I go. I just don't want to be dead, you know?
What is your most controversial or unpopular opinion?
I think more people should ride motorcycles. Motorcycles are sweet, dude. Like, oh, people like their hybrid cars, they only get 50 miles per gallon. Motorcycles get that kind of mileage, and they're cool, and no traffic, and they cost like a fraction of the price of a car. $5,000 for a bike, and that's a good one, dude. Yeah, bikes are sweet. Easy to find parking, too. Wherever, whenever.
Oh, he's done. Alright, chick. What would you do with the money?
What would you do with the money?
Oh, I have a financial advisor that handles my money for me. My parents use them. They're really good.
Tits.
Describe a typical day in your life.
My days are really busy. My trainer wakes me up at 8, then I hit the gym for 2 hours. I head downstairs to get breakfast. Then I take a shower, get my hair and makeup done. Then I get dressed. And I take my first selfie of the day. Then I talk to my agent and she tells me what photo shoots I have or other obligations. On the rare days that I'm not that busy, I get to come on things like this show.
You are definitely not getting the money this round.
If you found a wallet, would you return it?
I always return wallets when I find them. Every time. It's the right thing to do.
At least she's honest.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
No, I would never do that. And I've proven it. I was asked out by Ryan Gosling, and I said no. I was dating a guy at the time. We weren't serious, but I don't cheat.
No.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Start acting and modeling earlier. I was 9 years old when I started. Other girls had a huge head start on me by then, so I had to play catch up.
9 years old, Jeebus. Oh, she's done. Alright, Mr. Talks Too Much.
What is your most embarrassing memory?
Oh, yeah. I got an embarrassing memory. My most embarrassing memory was, okay, so I was maybe like 4 or 5 years old, and we were at a neighbor's
talk for
house,
like
the
20 minutes here.
Harrises. They were the only house on the block that had a pool. So we'd go over there for summer afternoons, pool parties. So I was in the pool this one time with my dad, and I told him I had to pee. And he told me, just go in the pool. That's what everyone does. So again, I was really young. This was like probably right before kindergarten. And I peed in the pool and it was fine. So that became a normal thing. I would go, if I was in the pool, I would pee in the pool. Well, one summer, again, I was very young, maybe kindergarten. there was a big pool party. It was a birthday. Everyone was there from my class, the neighbors, and I had to go. I wasn't in the pool. I was standing right outside the pool, and I figured, oh, if I have to go, just go in the pool. And I stood there and peed into the pool. I quickly learned that that was wrong. Everyone was horrified. They cleared out the pool. Party was almost over. It was like I ruined the birthday. And that stigma stuck with me, let's see, if that was kindergarten, almost until high school. Yeah, I was the pool peer. Not my proudest moment.
What is the dumbest
Yeah,
thing you
he's
ever
done.
did?
I'm so done with this dude.
Dumbest thing
Blah,
I
blah,
ever did.
blah, 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 blah.
How do I
Blah,
choose
blah,
just
blah,
one?
blah, 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 blah.
Okay. I was camping outside a store waiting to buy a game console. So it was going to be released, and I wanted to get there early. I wanted to make sure that I got one. And I set up a tent. I was going to sleep outside the store. I was there for 28 hours in my tent. The night before the store opened, when they were going to sell the console, it was go time. I went to sleep in my tent, had my phone with me. I didn't have any way to charge my phone, and my alarm didn't go off in the morning because my phone ran out of juice. I woke up 3 hours after the store opened, and I did not get the console. I slept in a tent on a sidewalk, got back problems from it, for what ended up being no reason whatsoever.
Well, you're stupid.
What is your most embarrassing guilty pleasure?
Yeah, my most embarrassing guilty pleasure, I like to go back and rewatch the cartoons from my childhood. I don't do it all the time,
So
but
you can understand
when
the
I think of
sexual
one
innuendo.
and I haven't seen it in a while, I'll look it up, I'll see where it's streaming or where I can find it, and then I will watch the crap out of it from front to back and relive my childhood a little bit.
Couldn't you
Maybe
after
take
this, I
out
can
some of
start
my old
skipping
action figures.
dialogue.
Yeah, that is an embarrassing guilty pleasure.
Pick a question. I talk to plenty of people. Why did it freeze? Oh no, the game froze. You for real? What broken shit is this? Oh, this stream's getting deleted.